All right, welcome, my bows and bow ties. So, I don't typically like to go live on a Saturday because I like to spend that time with my family, as you can probably hear them in the background in the basement. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to give my thoughts on and just like that. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this is the reboot of Sex in the City. Why do I want to do I don't know if you want to call it a reaction or what, because it's not like I'm going to bring up any clips to the program because, I'm still trying to get used to all of that. So I don't want to have to claim fair use or anything like that. So I excuse me. Sorry, I just had some water. If you guys are wondering why I'm like this, I think I'm going through the change. So I took off my sweatshirt and here I am. So the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because basically it's showing what these ladies look like, chronicling, I guess, as they go through life through middle age. So I just wanted to get my little thoughts on the show. My family is so loud. They're downstairs playing pool before football starts. So anyway, I just want to give my overall thoughts on it. All right. Okay. By the way, if you're wondering why I always have two monitors of myself, is because it makes me feel like I'm not just talking to myself, since I'm like new in these YouTube streets. So at least I have two people on the screen. So anyway, let me just give you my overall thoughts. Always gotta like put something up. All right, so I'm gonna talk about, this is what I've taken away. Now, I have seen the first 3 episodes, okay? I'm gonna give my overall thoughts. I'm not gonna do major recaps or anything like that. If you want to do that, there are other people out there who do that. You can go catch it for yourself. So anyway, and just like that is this reboot of Sex in the City. And let me bring this up. This is what, oh, darn it. All right, that's what my thumbnail is, guys. So I'm just going to give my overall thoughts on this. This is probably better to do it this way, right? You guys saw my thumbnail. I'm just kind of confused. I don't know if I really like it or if I really don't like it. I don't know. All right, so let me just get started. Let me give you my thoughts for a second. I always have my notes. Number one, I just feel like this reboot is giving me toxic wokeness. I feel like they're trying so hard to be woke, but I applaud it. So I don't know. Like everybody's woke now, conscious, whatever we were aware, red pilling, all that kind of stuff. And I know there's people who use red pill in a different connotation in relation to the manosphere. Okay. But anyway, everyone's red pilling, they're woke, they're conscious, they're awake. So I I think I'm happy that they are trying to address current issues and topics and the things that we're dealing with today. But I don't know. I felt like it was like shoved down my throat. It was like everything. I'm like, they didn't even try to finesse me. I'm like, they gave me everything. We're gonna start with so I know they wanted to address like being an anti-racist, right? Because that's the climate that we're living in today. So I get it. But it was like almost seemed too much. Like everyone, it was like almost like with Miranda trying to be overly sensitive. And I'm gonna get back to Miranda in a minute. But I just was like, yeah, I can't. Like, so like they're giving me anti-racist. The other thing that I'm surprised they didn't have a reference to Robin DiAngelo, who, by the way, for those of you who don't know this, she was the one who wrote White Fragility. Um, and like I said, I mean, I appreciate the fact that she wrote it. I mean, people have been like uttering some of the things that she's said for years, but she's going to get the credit for that type of thing. So anyway, I just felt like at some point, Robin DiAngelo was going to just walk across the screen, and just talk about how to be anti-racist. Well, actually, I'm sorry, White Fragility. Can do Ibrahim. I can never get his name. He's the one that wrote How to Be an Anti-Racist. But I digress. One of the other topics that I felt that they were trying to address like a lot was the whole gender identity that's going on, right? Like everyone identifies I can't keep up. I'm going to be honest. So I know there's a lot of people who are going to like be like in their feelings, but like even nowadays, I can't keep up with the acronyms because it keeps changing. It's like shooting at fish in a barrel, right? So anyway, everything is very fluid. So between the podcaster, I cannot recall her name, and but she's actually kind of a cool character on the show, and I hope that she becomes a staple for the show. I think she will, and I'll get into that another later on. Excuse me. So between the podcaster, I can't remember her name on the show. It's a Latina who has like a ton of pronouns, and I forget how she identifies, but she's actually kind of cool, actually. But then you got Charlotte's daughter, which is coming up. Who we all could see that coming from. At least you could sniff that out right away. Like she's just like, I don't want to be a girl, or I'm not comfortable with being called a girl, or whatever it was. So now, like I said, we got the toxic wokeness, right? So we're dealing with the whole being an ally and an anti-racist. We've got the gender identity and the fluidness, but we got the ageism. So like you can tell that they're putting it in our face, right? Like we're older, we're 55, we're older, we're middle-aged, we're older. Like I get it, you're older. So my thing was, I just kind of felt like, why couldn't they finesse us a little bit on this, right? Like, why couldn't they just let us just kind of just, I don't know, just like we can see it. You see, look at that thumbnail. It's sitting right there in front of you. You can look at these women and see, you can see that they've gotten older. Carrie has gotten older the most. I mean, look at her. You can tell. I'm not saying they're horrible. What I'm saying, it is clear that they are in middle age. And by the way, Miranda, I think she's wearing the heck out of that gray. She looks good. Well, she's just a very pretty woman. So okay. So then we've got like all of this. It's like racial integration going on. All of a sudden, they have blackity black friends, but I like that they have the blackity black friends. I mean, they always had the gay friends, but they never really had, I shouldn't say never, because there was interracial dating at one point, but now it looks like they're trying to put in our face this friendship, which I think is good. I'm just trying to make sure. I don't know if it's realistic. I don't know. Because most friendships these days, like either they were organic and they were built a long time ago. I don't know. I kind of feel like people are gaining these new friendships because it's in vogue. It's so avant-garde, it's in. So I don't know. So that's why, like, when you see my thumbnail, when I say I'm confused, I really am, because I'm like, I think I'm happy. Am I? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to take this. So I think I like the show. I'm confused. I am confused. Okay. So anyway, but this is the thing. So like I said, they got the toxic wokeness going on, right? Between the I want to be an ally, anti-racist, the gender identity and fluidity, the ageism, and the racial integration. But this is the other thing that kind of like messed me up about the show. There were I don't recall them making any references to the pandemic. You would think that they would be, I don't know when this was filmed. It may have been like a year or two ago, but a year or two ago, we still are in a pandemic. But you would think that there would be references to wearing masks and social distancing and that type of thing. So I find it interesting that they're talking about all these other highly inflammatory topics, but they shied away from the masking. I mean, like the masking is politicized, but everything is politicized. I find it interesting that they didn't specifically call out the George Floyd thing, right? I find that quite interesting. I find it interesting, like I said, that they would have Carrie. She was doing a podcast. So they're showing the new making sure people aren't texting me here. So they're showing like, okay, well, obviously that there had to be some sort of evolution to how people are communicating, right? So like they're showing or they're making references to reaching out to people via Instagram, and now like people are podcasting more, but they didn't necessarily reference YouTube. YouTube exploded during the pandemic. So anyway, I'm just trying to get my mind right. I'm like, I think overall I like that they're trying to tackle these sensitive subjects and topics, but I can't, I'm like, I just kind of felt like, why didn't they finesse me more? I felt like they should have taken me on a date. So anyway, that's where I'm going with this. Let's talk about the things that I think I like. Um, I like the fact, now I feel like I'm straddling the fence right now. I'm going to contradict myself. So, but I like the fact that they started talking about this thing called podcasting, right? Because 15, 20 years ago, we weren't we weren't audio podcasting. I don't know when YouTube came on the scene, maybe in 2004 or 5. I don't know exactly when it came on. But what I will say is the fact that people are video logging, like they're blogging and getting on podcasts and YouTubing and Instagramming and all stuff like that. I like the fact that they're starting to show like, hey, they have to be part of this culture. I'm going to speak to the big thing. I like the fact that they had to kill off Big. And not so much that they killed him off, but when they killed him off, there's still a little bit of douchebaggery associated with him. How he died, looking at the check while he was on the Peloton. And then also with the whole will thing. Like, why did he leave this chick $1 million? I mean, he just had to get one last and and I think that is like so on brand for Mr. Big. Now, I like the fact that they addressed Samantha. They didn't like talk like she was never part of this group. Like it was clear that she was missing. I'm going to get into that. I like the fact that there was more conscious inclusion of Stanford as a gay man. Now, it's not so much that I'm like, I want gay people to be included in everything. What I'm saying is, I like the fact that because she had, Carrie had gay friends. That was part of her life. Like that should be part of her circle, right? Why do I know we all have friendships and relationships that are separate, but I like the fact that her gay relationships were important to her to be part of her inner circle in her time of need. And I like the fact that they are addressing the diversity, like how there's this big push in modern day America for inclusion and equity. I may have that backwards. Equity and inclusion. I don't know. If you're like a sociologist or an HR person, you can go ahead and just like, get me all the way together. I'm not going to be offended. Okay. So yeah, I like that they're trying to address these topics. I think I just don't like the fact that it seems so rushed but I guess they had to, right? They had to get it all out there. I just kind of wanted to be finessed. I wanted to be dated. I'm sorry, I'm sitting on this stool and I can't get right. Let me tell you something. I really think that I'm going through the change. I'm sitting here, look, guys, I'm in a full-on tank top. I'm in a tank top. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna go to the next thing. Let me go ahead and take that off. These are just my opinions. If you like this, go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you like how I'm giving my thoughts on this. I want to talk to the obviousness of who's not here. Kim Cattrall, aka Samantha herself. Now, I like the fact that they didn't shy away from it. Okay. I would have she really was one of the main characters that made Sex and the City, but I think what I would have really enjoyed with Samantha if they were able to work it out like behind the scenes, because I understand there's drama with the cast, or I think Sarah Jessica Parker. I can't remember. Hey, remember, everything is alleged unless it's proven to be true. I don't know all the details, so don't come for me. Okay, back to if you like the content, please subscribe. I think for me is with Kim Cattrall. Like she was such an integral person to the show. Go back to my notes. Darn it. Let me get my life together. So let me just say this for Samantha. I miss her. And I think, I'm not sure yet how I feel about it, but I think I'm happy that they haven't replaced her with somebody else. And I say this because I feel like they're leaving room for her to possibly come back should they work out a deal or I don't know. But I miss her on the show because I really liked her quite a bit. I think what would have been cool is if they had shown as she's gotten older that she's not out there like trying to walk around like thoughting it, you know? But like she gave a little bit of maturity to the show too. Like at the root of her, I think she just had it all the way together more than we thought. Because the fact of the matter is, she has a compelling story, a testimony as far as that character. You know, the dating she's done, dating younger, she had cancer, you know, all that good stuff. So I'm curious to see like how she was in PR. How did she handle being a publicist, a PR person during the pandemic when, you know, people weren't working? Right. We know that Carrie let her go per se, but I'm curious. I would love to see how they tackle um, high end or rich people problems in a pandemic as far as making money because they still need to make money. I would have loved that would have been a golden opportunity for them to address money issues from that perspective. And yes, I recognize that it may seem a little tone deaf, but it would still start to address these things like, hey, this pandemic affected everyone's livelihood. Well, not every, excuse me, that carbonated water. My family is so loud. But anyway, I would love to have seen like how people handled um you know, this pandemic on multiple sides, and how livelihoods were affected, and how those who may have had access to more disposable cash than others, right? What did that look like? Not only that, but maybe expose like maybe people really had money problems even in high end tax brackets. That would have been a really good opportunity to have that discussion. But yeah, I think that they're trying to leave room for her possible return from London. All right. Let me get on over to Carrie. So, okay. So this is what my thoughts are. These are what my thoughts are. By the way, these are what my notes look like. Y'all gonna stop talking. Can you see me? I'm sorry. This is my notes. Okay. So Carrie, I feel like I think she's more mature. I don't know. She seems. I mean, she's still got some dingbatty ways, I think, but she seems less dingbatty. Like I don't know. I think so. I think right now, but we're gonna have to let this all unfold, right? Maybe they are trying to finesse us into it. I think they had to get all the hot topic or many of the hot button issues out there, and now maybe they're gonna do some more character development. I don't know, but with Carrie, so I'm glad. It's like weird. This is why I'm going back to my. Okay, let me just say this is the reason why I keep saying I'm confused. I'm confused because so this is the thing with Carrie. I'm sorry. They reference her shoes, right? Like she has her thing with shoes, and I love that they try to keep elements of that. But in the same token, I kind of feel like she's still walking around in these heels. And like most people in her age bracket on the regular, and I'm 45. I mean, I still put on heels, but I don't wear heels like that every day. We are not walking around. And the older you get to, yeah, no, no. I'm just, I love that she has her collection, but you can't tell me that this chick is walking around in heels like that all the time. She would probably have like bunions and corns, stuff like that. Like she would have all kinds of issues, hip problems and stuff like that. So unless they're going to explore that in middle age, I don't know. I just kind of think it's kind of weird because she's like, they keep letting us know that they're 55. I'm not so sure if that's realistic. I'm thinking that she would need to like, yeah, like have like a much lower, like you would think that they would like almost poke fun or like say like, yeah, I miss my shoes. So now like have a little funny moment where she's wearing, I don't know, like an aerosol or something. I know Clark's walking shoe or whatever. Like show her, no, I'm still recording. So sorry. You would think that they would show her walking through the city like, my, have things, you know, times changed. You know, I have a walking shoe now. I don't know. So anyway, we're going to address the obvious for a second. If, you know, about the fact that she's older, because we're talking about the whole ageism topic. So this is what I want to say about this. I am a hypocrite. I love the fact that they're bringing up ageism. Now, let me just say for the record, I had a talkable moment. For those of you who know what that is, you know what it is. Maybe I'll link to that, what a talk is. But yeah, I just talked. TOCK. I call that a talkable moment. Anyway, I love the fact that they're addressing ageism, but I'm like, no, ma'am. Because the whole big thing about Carrie is, let me go ahead and get my life together here. What note did I write down? It's obvious that she's older. I'm just not sure how I feel about it, because I think with Carrie, it was all about the fabulousness. So you can't have her being fabulous in these shoes and she's walking around. Clearly she's aged. And it's not so much that she's aged, but I kind of felt like with her character, we always associated all this fabulousness, right? Her and maybe Samantha. So I was expecting for her character that you're going to see her getting Botox or some sort of injection. So it's not so much that I dislike the fact that she's gotten older, but the Carrie that we knew, we associated with fabulousness and shoes and dresses and the fashions and the hair. And it doesn't match that she's doing all these things, but her face isn't beat to the gods, right? Isn't that what they say? She's got gay friends. So you would think that they would have her slaying on the regular. You would think that because she's keeping her hair and everything else up, you would think that not only would she be like trying to reclaim her youth, but that she would be like really wearing this makeup. So that's why I'm like, well, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. It's clear that Charlotte's like, yes, I will be dyeing the hair. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's the reality in middle age. This is what we do. Now, I have never had Botox. Let me tell you something. I feel really fortunate that I feel like I have some good skin. I just have that little situation right here. See, I'm dealing with, well, you guys already know how I feel about that. For those of you who've seen my video on the fact that I got to deal with thinning hair. So in my mind, I'm completely bald, right? So, I went to a dermatologist and everything. I'm like, we got to arrest this. I digress. Now, getting back to Carrie, this ageism thing, I just kind of felt like it was almost like they needed to go hard on that. Like, I felt like they should have addressed her struggling with that or something. So like her getting fillers or something. I don't know, wearing makeup. I don't know. And I say her specifically, I'm not saying everybody, but you would think that they would talk about like, or at least say like, she probably doesn't want to, like, clearly I don't know if she's doing any work. It doesn't appear to be. What I'm saying is at least they can say, hey, I can't because I have some sort of allergy or something. So I can't get all my Botox. And so now my face is showing this natural aging progression. I don't know. I just felt like that was a really cool opportunity to like lean in, because right now in these 2021 going into 2022 streets, yeah, chicks are getting Botox and stuff. I got it. So the big scene was sad when Big died. So this is the thing, like I said, it was kind of good because now it's like we can show her navigating the city as a single person again. But do we want to see that? Maybe we do. Maybe we want to show what does being single in middle age look like. There's women out here in these streets who are single in middle age. So yeah, but there was a point in the scene that was a little confusing, because when she came back, she sees that homie was on the struggle bus, right? Like he was having a heart attack or had a heart attack or stroke or whatever it was. To me, I always thought that people would just go call the ambulance. Like in my mind, I would have been like 911. I'm like CPR or something, anything. Like, this is the love of my life. I don't know. I just think my first thought would be 911. I can still hold him, but come get my man. Like chest compressions, not that works, but anything. I would have been, you never know what you're going to do. But I just thought it was just so strange that she never thought to call 911. But I like the fact that she was there in the way that they looked at each other and the way he left. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was a pretty powerful scene, except for the lack of 911-ness. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. And then I just want to go back to this podcast. I thought she was like a famous author or something, right? Like, shouldn't she? Like, I don't remember her. I don't know. Like, she sold all these books and everything like that, and she's got big money as far as we know. But then again, he gave away $1 million to the other chick, Natasha. So, like, I don't know. But I just thought it was interesting that she went into this podcast land, because at the end of the day, okay, this is gonna sound crazy. I know a lot of people are doing it, but I kind of get the feeling like there's almost like a pecking order. It's almost like the people who YouTube or the people who are on Instagram or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, there's like this hierarchy, right? Like, oh no, she went to podcasts. Like, although podcast is growing and it's a thing, and you know, I'm all about that podcast life too. But I just thought it was interesting that they showed her on this podcast, and is open as she was, and all the kinds of friends that she had. She couldn't talk about the things that they were talking about. And I don't want to repeat it here because I don't know what the rules are for being out here in these YouTube streets. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know how to take the Carrie thing. But I'm going to move on. Miranda. All right, Miranda, this is the thing. I'm probably one of those few people. Oh, let me go ahead to the next one. My bad. I don't have an issue with this grade. Now, this is a good photo that I snapped. I didn't personally snap it, but I grabbed it. So I kind of like it, because there's a lot of women in middle age who are like, "F it, I'm not about that." Like, now, let me just let you guys know. I just want to let you know, I am not ready to be gray. Okay, I told you how I cut out those 3 gray hair. I'm not ready. Okay, like, just I gotta get there when I'm ready to get there, but I'm not ready. So, but her gray looks beautiful on her, but she was always beautiful. And is she aging? Yeah, but I think, I don't know, whatever it was, like, I personally liked how they handled Miranda. I love this picture of her. I just liked it. Let me tell you what. Okay, so let me just give you my rundown of Miranda. A lot of this we all could see from the very beginning. Like, she's got this weird lesbian vibe. And so when I say this weird lesbian vibe, it's not that the lesbianness is weird. It's more so like they were putting it out there right away. Like, you know what I mean? And then the whole drinking thing, like, it was so clear that they were foreshadowing this whole, like, she's probably got a drinking problem. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the whole Steve thing, and he's clearly getting older and he's got the hearing problems. I don't know. She's got this reckless son of hers, which I think she is a hot mess for not getting under control. Yeah, like that dude, we would have been boxing or something up in here, because he is doing this disrespectful in her house. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that they were foreshadowing a whole lot. They were giving us a whole lot, but for whatever reasons, I don't know why, but I'm liking, I think, Miranda's character a lot. I like how she handled Carrie during Big's death. I think getting back to the lesbian vibe and how she started to, I think, befriend the podcast. I cannot remember her name. Shay. I think that's what it is. Shay. So yeah, I think that's what it was. You know, it's like, it was so weird. Like, she went from bombing this lady out for potentially she gave her son some weed. And then she finds out that that's Carrie's podcast boss lady. And now all of a sudden they're like besties. Like, I heart you. I was like, really? Like, she didn't do this, but I got these kind of vibes. It was just kind of weird. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how I want to feel about that. I feel like they're trying to tell me that, like, her and the lady are gonna get it on, or something. I don't know. Like, they're gonna have some sort of connection, some sort of relationship. I feel like it's all foreshadowing. I thought it was weird when Charlotte finds all these empty bottles. Like, she didn't call her out. I don't understand why Miranda's carrying around these empty bottles of alcohol. I don't know. It was kind of like, I didn't like how they did it, but I like the fact that they're trying to make this part of her character development. So, but yeah, her husband Steve is getting old, but they're not having sex. I don't know what is going on, but like, he doesn't give me husband vibes. He gives me not even friend vibes. I don't know, like nice old man down the street vibes. I don't know, like not even daddy vibes. Like I don't know what's going on. Like why am I not feeling Steve? I like Steve, but not really. I don't know what is that. Anyway, so getting back to the whole thing, like I don't know. I don't know why. I'm just like, can they finesse me a little bit? I need them to finesse me. Now, I'm gonna bring up this thing, this thing with the child. I just feel like I don't get why she's just letting her son just do what the heck he wants to do. They're just getting it in, headboards banging, and I'm like, your job is to parent, but you don't do as a character. Like that's just like he is just doing too much, smoking weed. I felt like she was just like checking out. I don't know what that was. And now we're going to talk about the whole anti-racist thing. So this whole going back to school thing, and I was like done with the whole fumbling. She kept fumbling over and over, like trying to be an ally, racist, whatever. I think what they should have done was made her like I could see if she's trying to be an ally, but then they should have shown like the juxtaposition of her being like a full-on Karen. So now she has to deal with that struggle, not just like I want to be like, I know she's got the white guilt thing going on, but they should have shown her being like a Karen or something and then calling out the hypocrisy. And that's how you show some character development and growth, right? Like you show her being a Karen, you show her lacking maybe even empathy until being put in a position where she's being forced to see things. And then you can show her trying to be, an anti-racist. You can show that. So show her fumbling through it. Show her trying to learn and grow and do the work. Show her messing up. But it was just like team too much. It was kind of cringy. I was just a little on the embarrassed side. I was like, they're doing too much. Can they finesse me into it? All right. Let me get on to my last one. All right, Charlotte. All right, look, these are my notes. She's still an elitist, which I'm okay with them portraying her as an elitist. Okay? I'm totally okay with that. I just didn't understand. I'm not okay. So, like, when her daughter was like, "Mom, I don't like it when you call me a girl" or something along those lines. Like, obviously, we could see the foreshadowing of this. This was not like I said, they didn't finesse us into anything. It was practically like they held up cue cards. We're now going to show her having issues with her daughter and her identity. Like all the issues, that's why I was talking about the toxic wokeness. Like they didn't finesse us into anything. It was just kind of like, bam. But I guess they had to do that just so they can move forward with the rest of the character development. But I just felt like I wasn't sure if I believed her in her reaction to her daughter. I'm glad that there was growth, but it seemed like she still got this Pollyanna attitude. Like, I don't know what it was with the Charlotte thing, especially all the crazy, like she kept centering herself during the tragedy between with Carrie and her husband. Like, so that was on brand with her being an elitist, right? So that's the reason why I'm like, she's centering herself, making it about her, but all of a sudden, like, she's accepting of her daughter not wanting to be a daughter or whatever. I don't know. I just kind of like I was confused. So then, look, then it was. So this is the thing that is on brand. She seemed like she always wanted to exclude Stanford, and the fact of the matter is, in these United States 2021, you've got the extreme, right, who are like, I'm not about that life, but then you got the people who have a multitude of friendships with rather complexions and backgrounds and identities. I can't keep up with the identities. But if they're going to do that, then what they should do is make sure that they need to be authentic, right? And they need to start calling out the whole like MAGA stuff, show her being super conservative. That would actually be interesting. But yeah, this whole thing with Charlotte, I was like, I don't know, like she was still an elitist. So you can't give me these elitist vibes. And suddenly when your daughter is like, I think I want to not be a girl or whatever it was she was going through, and you're understanding. Yes, you can miss me with that. So I just felt like I couldn't quite believe that interaction because like she was very extreme about the whole Big death. When Big dies, she was like centering herself as she does. And she's like, if it wasn't for Bo, I'm like, girl, cut out the tears. So yeah, and then like I said, she kept trying to exclude Stanford into like the inner circle of trust. I'm like, be careful of that one. She's giving me like future Karen vibes. Okay, so this is the thing. I get it. They're still trying to show her as being overly traditional, and I'm like, what is up with these whack outfits? The whackness of it all. Because I'm like, if you're gonna sit here and show them as middle-aged women in these 2021s or whatever year that they're portraying this in, you would think they would show her at some point in some leggings. I know this seems like it doesn't fit, but like you know how like housewives or whatever, they're clicky, and I get it. This is the she's in New York, Upper East Side or whatever, but you would think that she would be in some leggings or something, like some cute leggings, going to go work out with a perfect ponytail, dyeing her hair, face snatched, all that kind of stuff, right? Trying to keep up and look good for Mr. Harry Goldenblatt. I don't know, but I just kind of felt like, yeah, I don't know, Charlotte was making me yawn. But all right, anyway, that's my big rundown. I think that's pretty much it. I ran through all of the whole situations. Like I said, I wanted to give this. I don't know if it's considered a reaction or what to, I guess, the reboot of Sex and the City, because it's chronicling middle-aged women. It's not reality. It's not reality TV. They're bringing in diversity. They got a little. They got a lot of it, not a little bit. A lot of bit of toxic wokeness. They're showing. They're discussing all these topics. You know, ageism, gender identity. Racial diversity and equity and inclusion. What else was it that I had on here? You had to be an ally and anti-racist. And, you know, I just felt like they could have done a little bit more to reference the pandemic. I think it would have been great if they had referenced Samantha falling on hard times, because during the pandemic, a lot of people's livelihoods were affected by this pandemic. And it would have been interesting for them to call out how wealthy people were, their bag was affected by it, and who really had the money. Okay, who was really living off of borrowed money, or, you know, borrowed time, basically robbing from Peter to pay Paul, and those who really had it. That would have been really interesting. I'm still trying to place this whole weird podcast, you know, and the dirty talk about sex. You know, but anyway, that's pretty much it. Before I get up out of here, I just want to say, for those of you who are wondering why I'm showing my little Christmas spirit, you see that tree right here? Sorry, that's the ugly tree. And yeah, this is my family downstairs screaming. So that's the ugly tree that my kids like to decorate, that they never fully decorated, and now it's in multicolors. And then I like my other tree to be in all white. And I never even hung up the rest of my Christmas decorations because I just didn't. But anyway, I'm feeling Christmassy, and I'm just about that life. All right, folks. So look, if you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like it at least, and leave me a comment. All right, I'm going to get on up out of here. Black opinionated woman out.